everyone. Welcome to my channel. Well, we wanted to continue to party like it was 2021, but Wednesday kind of brought us back a little closer to reality in that what the Fed is telling us and what the market is pricing in is two different things. The stock market is pricing in 6 rate cuts for next year in 2024, and the Federal Reserve, in their dot plots, they have put in for 3 rate cuts. So there's a discrepancy there, and the Fed speakers, the Fed zombies, have been coming out and trying to tell us that he didn't really mean it as much as it sounded like he meant it when Powell said, yeah, we're talking about rate cuts. And the stock market didn't really believe him for a while. But you know, when you have like 8 days of increasing stock market returns, people like me start to say, you know, this can't go on forever. We have to have a cutback every once in a while. I was waiting for the cutback, and it came on Wednesday. And when it got down to 130 points, I said on the NASDAQ, I said, this is it. I'm bailing out, and I bailed. I saved myself significant money because I'm so sick of being trashed by this market, of being built up and thinking, yeah, it's cool, it's going, and then it craters down into the ground. And so I am a trader, and I did cash in, and I cashed in over $100,000. So that's a pretty good couple weeks' work for me, I would say. And so I'm going to watch it, and I'll jump back in if the conditions look right. But it seemed to be mostly technical. The fact that it just went up so fast and so high is the reason really it came down. Now, there was some turmoil on the Red Sea, that there were rebels that decided to shoot at passing oil ships. And so the United States is said that they're going to send the military down to protect the oil ships that are going through there. And I guess there still are oil ships going through there. It's like there's still hundreds going through the Red Sea, but there's like 50 of them that have decided to go around Africa, which adds significant cost. So I think once the military gets there and shuts down the attacks by rebels, I guess they're using drones, and so they somehow managed to shut down the rebel fire. This should make it okay again to invest in stocks. But I think we've had a little bit of the Christmas rally, a little bit too early, and we need... I actually will welcome it shaking down somewhat so that I can get back in at lower prices. One thing that didn't go down are my bond funds. And good old TMF, which is a triple leverage bullish fund on bonds that are of 20 years or longer duration, it actually gained almost 2.2% on Wednesday. So I was very pleased with this performance, and I'm just going to hang on to it. TLT, which is the 20-year plain bond fund of 20 years or more, it did a third as good, of course, as TMF, and it made almost 0.7%. The bond funds I'm pleased with. I just keep my money in there. I keep about $200,000 in each of them. The junk bond fund, good old JNK, I've kept on. It lost a smidget. It lost 0.03%. So you might as well say it was just flat when the market took a pretty significant dive. I'm going to hang with it. I got these 3 different bond funds. In this fund, I've got about 100,000. What was so weird about all this is that the yield on the 10-year bond on Wednesday actually went down. Usually when the yield on the 10-year bond goes down, stocks go up, but somehow they forgot to follow the pattern. but they only came down 0.04 points or 4 basis points to 3.87%. So it wasn't much of a drop. There's a secondary story about the Panama Canal drying up. Now, you would think with two oceans on each side, it'd be pretty hard for the Panama Canal to dry out. But I think they have a reservoir or a lake that actually depends upon the rain there. I don't understand the mechanics of it all, but that lake or reservoir is going dry, not enough to service the canal. But it's just, I never thought I would be reading a story about the Panama Canal drying up. It's a strange world we live in, and it puts emphasis on the climate crisis. And I think it really is approaching a crisis point. And I think we need to do whatever we can to try to improve the environment. If you're able to, I strongly wish that people would put solar on their houses. If you live in the southern half of the United States, it's very economical at this point, especially with the tax incentives. It's gotten to be a good deal, and I keep adding more solar panels, and I'm adding another 6 solar panels, so I'll have a total of 22 solar panels on my house. And I don't know, maybe I should add more. I kind of like the idea. I view it sort of as a charitable contribution to some degree, and a way to prevent war and not to rely on countries that are opposed to us to benefit from our buying oil from them, which I think leads to all kinds of problems in the world. If you look at the chart on Canadian solar, you can see that it's had a rough year, okay? It's come down significantly. I think I sold it last. You can see this chart illustrates why I'm a trader, why I buy and sell. I'm a long-term trader. I like to follow a stock and get familiar with it and know when it's down and know when it's coming up. And I last sold it at about $34. And it came down significantly enough, and this last wild rush, I decided to jump in, and I bought it at about $24, and I only held it for a couple of days because I could see the entire market is going to try to self-correct here, at least somewhat. So I will let it self-correct, then I will jump back in. Canadian solar really is a good buy, which is why I follow it. It's selling right now for about $24. Its value is about $32. Its price to earnings is only 7.5. It's less than 8 on a price to earnings. Wow. And also its earnings growth rate is 22%, which is very good. So this is an excellent stock, and I feel good in my conscience about doing something for the environment and doing something for my finances, frankly. The first things I sold on Wednesday when the market started tanking was my artificial intelligence and my chip maker stocks. Because they have run up the most, so they're going to correct down the most. And I will jump back into them because they are excellent stocks and they have a long-term future. And if I had true guts and true grit, I would hang on to them. But I'm confident enough in my ability to manage the trades that I know I will get back in at a decent price. And looking at the chart on NVDA and super microcomputer SMCI, you can see why I'm addicted to them. NVIDIA has made about 287% in a year's time, and SMCI has made over 200%. That's why I'm in them. Okay, and this is why I'm trading them, is because since September, they've really been in kind of a holding pattern, and I'm still waiting to see them catch on and reestablish their fire, which they haven't done. And I think they're going to be taken down somewhat in this mini correction. I expect it to be a mini correction. The other two major stocks are the stock that connects everything with everything, and that's Broadcom, whose symbol is AVGO. And I also disconnected temporarily from ASML, which is vital in providing lithography to artificial intelligence. It's just a pause. I'm like the Federal Reserve. I'm just pausing for now, but I may jump back in at any given time. And looking at the chart, you can see that Broadcom, AVGO, has made 31%, and ASML has made 25% in 3 months. Not bad. I think I'm jumping back into them definitely. And we don't want to forget advanced micro devices, the good old AMD, which is second only to NVDA in the artificial intelligence realm. I made a nice, tidy profit, and I'm going to sit out the correction, hopefully, and get back in at an opportune time. The Russell 2000 has finally caught fire lately, and it's projected that they are probably going to do worse than the rest of the market in 2024 just because they've done so much worse in the preceding years. And if you're sane, you trade IWM, which is the Russell 2000. And if you're insane like me, you do the UWM, which is the triple leveraged Russell 2000 index. It's done well for me, but again, it's triple leverage. The market's correcting. I got to get out. I agree that small stocks are going to go forward in 2024, and I will be jumping in. But the IWM is for those of you that do not want to take the risk associated with UWM. And looking at the chart, you can see that IWM has made about 8% in the last 3 months, and UWM has made about 15% in the last 3 months. Now, the Russell for the past couple years, it's kind of been dipping up and down. So this one is particularly prone to be traded in my world. I expected to do pretty well in 2024, but its previous history of just keeping cycling up and down is on my mind. I have 2 stocks that are a stab at diversification, and they're Rolls-Royce, the aircraft division. They make airplane engines, is the main thing for them right now because the airlines are doing pretty good. People are flying more than ever, which indicates that recession is nowhere on the horizon, at least for now. And also installed building products, which makes insulation and garage doors. IBP, installed building products, kept showing up at the top of my screens, and they forced me to buy it. So I did buy it, but I'm bailing out. I probably could have kept a hold of both of these stocks, but I was in a selling mood, and sometimes I just like to clear the charts. You know, I just like to clear my thinking, reset, and then go back in. I've found that to be profitable. There's been too many times when I've been at the top of the market that I did not sell, and now I like to do a surprise sell. Well, this wasn't exactly a surprise because I had a reason for doing it, but I think it's going to turn out well for me. And looking at the chart, you can see that installed building products, IBP made 42%, and Rolls-Royce, RYCEY, made 36% in the last 3 months. So they've done very well, and like my other stocks, I am a long-term trader. I follow these stocks, and I'm in and out of them, and that works well for me. It may not work well for you, but it is my thing. 2024 is sure to be a funky year. It's an election year, and who knows what's going to happen with that. Biden and Trump at this point are tied in the polls, and the surprising thing is Kennedy is getting 22% in some polls. I think people are looking for an alternative, and maybe they hope for some of that Kennedy magic. I don't know. It's a wild, strange political world. I think this is the strangest political world I've lived in, and that is saying something. So, thanks for listening and watching. Be sure to check back to see how this pans out.
Like you, be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one.